Toronto continues mulling over ways on how to get this city back on steady financial footing, and a commercial parking tax is one proposal that is once again on the table. TTC advocates are all for it, but a very different reaction is coming in from the business community.
It's been looked at twice before, I think in 2007 to 2016, and those times rejected, and I think rejected for good reason.
Large shopping centers, strip malls, grocery stores, and medical and office buildings are some locations that could be targeted by a commercial parking levy.
We pay pretty high commercial taxes here in the city, and this is essentially an add-on to the commercial tax rate. So it makes it more difficult to attract business.
The Toronto Region Board of Trade is not behind a move like this, and with a 1% sales tax on goods and services also being considered, the executive vice president tells me there will be consequences.
That parking levy will undoubtedly be passed on to tenants, of the owners of the buildings, and then passed on to customers and employees. We have to really worry that we don't price Toronto out of competitive out of its competition with neighboring cities. I mean, there are, as we know, many people who work in Toronto live outside of the city of Toronto, vice versa. So they can choose where they shop, they can choose where they spend their dollars, and there's just a real worry that we may be pricing ourselves out.
Last week, city staff presented 29 revenue-generating tools to help fill the massive budget hole and alleviate forecasted financial struggles over the next decade. The parking tax is expected to generate about $490 million a year, and transit advocates are on board.
We've seen TTC service cuts and we're losing ridership, and so what we need is to bring riders back onto the system, and we do that by reversing the service cuts and funding transit. And there's an additional benefit that in the future, long term, some of those parking lots might be transformed into things like housing or other developments, but that's long term. Really short term, we just want to reverse service cuts and make transit better.
A commercial parking levy is one revenue tool that would not require approval from the province. Unlike a sales tax, Mayor Olivia Chow was asked about that today and how those talks are going with the Premier.
What is encouraging, though, is no one has said no. I'm always the optimist in order to do what I do.
The city does want to hear from residents about all of these tax proposals, and we'll be holding deputations at the next executive committee meeting on Thursday. Shauna Hunt, City News.